Ben, good morning. What have you got for us today?
Thank you very much for joining me. Great to hear those the old replays of zipping. There was a saying back here in the day of death, taxes and zipping winning at Sandown. It was like clockwork every year, seeing the great horse come off usually a run in the Melbourne Cup where I think in 3 of those 4 years, he actually came off a 4th placing in the Melbourne Cup. One of the years he actually missed the Melbourne Cup and paid a good price in the Zipping Classic. He was a short price favourite in the other races, the other 3 editions. But yeah, he was a sensational horse, and great to see the feature, the old Sandown Classic run at weight for age over 2,400 metres, named after him.
Yeah, how would you go? That 4th Sandown Classic, it wasn't zipping that I was on, it was Gingadood, a New Zealander, so I was betting with my heart and not with my head. Silly stuff in 2010. Anyway, race number 6 is where we'll start, Ben. How did you shake it all down for the Araza Sandown Stakes?
Traditionally, this is a really good day for punters. Brad Bishop for Racing.com did a bit of an analysis. You know, there's a bit of a theory going around. It's a favourite day and a day that punters dominates. And he actually did the statistics over the last 20-odd years and found that if there was ever a day to be backing favourites, and this was the one, it was a phenomenal statistic. Something like over the last 20 years, if you backed every favourite, you'd have doubled your money, which, as we know as punters, generally isn't a recipe for success, backing favourite after favourite. So has been a kind day to punters, Sandown Guineas Day. Now, this is a race, I think, of all the favourites, this one may be hard to beat, in 50 stars for the Darren Weir stable. Now, he's on a path headed towards potentially the Railway Stakes in WA on Saturday week at Group 1 level. I think he needs to win this race to justify heading over there. So he comes off a career peak performance, in my opinion, winning on Melbourne Cup Day where he turned the tables on Manuel. I think he's a horse that can improve again off that victory. He's one of those typically lightly raced, progressive Darren Weir trained gallopers that just looks to have even more upside to come. He has an outstanding record. I think he's had 7 starts for 5 wins in 2 seconds or something like that. He's a really promising galloper. Down in the weights today, I've got little knocks on all of the opposition. I don't have too many knocks on him. I think he should be winning again. There's no flash price, but he's going to be hard to beat, 50 stars in the Sandown Stakes.
To race number 7, and it was Ring-a-Ding-Ding, the Irishman's the king last time when John Allen guided that horse home, and a horse that you spruiked on the program as well. In the Sandown Guineas, is he the horse to beat, or are you looking outside? I
think he is the horse to beat. I was trying to get him beaten earlier this week. I sort of thought, maybe not 1,600 metres. You know, we're taking potentially a shorter price than we were last week in a weaker race, but I've really come around to him. I think the hillside track at Sandown is going to really suit Ring-a-Ding-Ding. He's a horse that'll settle off the speed, balance up as he did last start. And just looking at that win last start, the time out of the race was really strong. Outside of Ring-a-Ding-Ding, most of the other horses were on speed. He was, for mine, clearly the best performance in the race at Flemington last Saturday. And he didn't have the perfect run in transit, despite the fact that he swooped home to win. You look at around the 300-metre mark, he was held up in behind horses, had to veer out sharply, had his momentum halted. I thought it was a really strong performance. I think it was the performance of a very progressive galloper. His past 2 runs since the blinkers have gone back on have been outstanding. Outside of Winks, he was one of the runs of the race at Moonee Valley. Then he produced that really strong win at Flemington. I think he's another progressive Darren Weir trained galloper that can win again. It's no disadvantage for these horses that settle off the speed, balance up and get home down the outside on the hillside track at Sandown. It's, along with Flemington, one of the better tracks here in Victoria or Australia for that matter.
Okay, to the Zipping Classic, and the Taj Mahal got it done last year. The expectations for you that he can do it again?
I think he's certainly one of the key winning chances in the race for Taj Mahal, but I'm going for one of a bit of value in this race, in Lord Fandango. He was pretty good in the Bendigo Cup last start. Comes out of the same race as Dal Haral, who I suppose you have to concede a chance to in the Zipping Classic as well. But it was not an easy day to make ground at Bendigo last start for Lord Fandango. He settled well back. He tried to follow the favourite Furion into the race, who I expect his jockey would have thought potentially would have taken him a little further. But unfortunately for Lord Fandango, Furion was pretty tired on the home turn, so he had to come out very wide, come from a long way back. He was still beaten less than a length. Thought it was a really good effort. 2 starts ago, I'm just not sure he was fit enough to handle the high pressure put down by Yucatan in the Herbert Power Stakes. So I think Sandown will suit. He did have that little mild bout of colic last week that saw him late scratching from the Queen Elizabeth Stakes, where he was a well-backed second favourite behind Jarmay. But his trainer, Archie Alexander, said it was just being really cautious. He was fine, back to 100% the next day, and I think he can run really well here at each way odds in Lord Fandango.
Okay, ring-a-ding-ding, Jarmay, Santa Ana Lane, they were the highlights last week from you. What's the Ben Asgari set for Sandown today?
We'll kick things off in the second race of Sandown Cup over the 2 miles. I like Yogi here. He's been a bit of a non-winner, but he comes through much stronger form lines than his opposition, and there's 2 keys for him. A rise in distance. Oh, I might go reset that. There's 3 keys. There are a rise in distance, getting to Sandown, the big track, and perhaps most crucially, blinkers going on. So I think Yogi will be hard to beat in the second race. I like Into the Abyss in the third race. I think she's going really well. She should have won at Moonee Valley 2 starts ago, and then was terrific, settling 3 wide on a genuine speed at Flemington last start, where she was still there at the finish. In the fourth race, I'm making a case for Bring Me Roses here. She's only won from 15, but she's been racing in much stronger races. She was terrific at Group 1 level in the Empire Rose Stakes last start behind Shillelagh. She drops back to Group 3 level, steps up to 1800. She's another horse that's going to be really well suited by the hillside track. And the last horse that I'm making a bit of a case for at odds is Rich Charm in the 5th race. Now, he's returning off a little injury and forced setback, but he's trialled nicely at Cranbourne. You can obviously forgive his last start where he pulled up lame, and 2 starts ago, he's hit the line at Caulfield in similar sectionals to Santa Ana Lane, and he ran every bit as good as horses like Brave Smash and also Voodoo Lad. So at around the $7 mark, I think he represents great value in race 5, the Kevin Heffernan Stakes. So race 2, Yogi. Race 3, Into the Abyss. Race 4, Bring Me Roses. And race 5, Rich Charm, are my other bets on the program today at Sandown, which hopefully can be a good day for punters once again.
Yeah, my word. Thank you, Ben Asgari. All the best today, and we'll let you get ready to possibly head out on track. Ben Asgari of racing.com, and you can follow him on Twitter as well for more regular information with regards to the Victorian form.